Chief Charles Walker, WALKER. This morning at 6:15, the fire department received a local call where that's a single engine company get dispatched for a bus fire. Upon arrival, that company found that it was more than just one bus involved. They immediately upgraded this assignment to what we consider a box assignment that brought additional companies. That happened at 6:28. Once we got in, we found that we had a storage area, that SEPTA has a storage area of buses that has a multitude of buses that are parked there, and we found at least 7 to 10 buses involved in fire. We had some initial challenges as far as access points to get into this yard, as well as we had some water issues in order to get water into the areas that we needed it to. But once we were able to get water in here and we started to extinguish the buses, conditions got better. We really applaud SEPTA for being able to get in here, and they were very helpful with helping us, assist us from moving buses and pulling buses out in a way that were not involved, so that we could actually get water in to the seat of the buses that were involved in the fire. We had some initial hazards initially reported as propane tanks and things in the area, but they were situated far enough away, and we had enough water to contain the fire where that no longer became a major concern for us. At this point, we were able to get most of the fire knocked down as we waited for SEPTA to pull those buses out that were not involved. This fire produced a large amount of smoke that was seen in the area, and as a result of that, the Office of Emergency Management was able to broadcast communications to businesses and places in the area to shut off the HVAC systems and things of that nature so that they wouldn't bring the harmful smoke into their environment. Traffic, of course, was probably a mess in the area due to the large response of apparatus. We had over 150 members here addressing this fire, and right now we have no injuries reported, whether it be from SEPTA personnel or from fire department personnel. We pretty much have the fire contained and out. As you can see, the smoke is pretty much dissipated. We don't know the cause of this fire as of yet. The fire marshal will be investigating, and that's pretty much where we are to this point.
What about the explosions you heard?
The explosions you hear, sometimes you tend to hear explosions not just with buses but with car fires. You have tires that explode on buses or cars because they're inflated with air, and then the air inside rapidly expands and heats up because of the fire, and they explode. But it was not anything flammable or an explosive type device that was exploding. It was just the byproduct of what we normally get when we have auto fires or vehicle fires.
You talk about the smoke in the air, the air quality a concern. I know the health department was just here. They're asking people to stay inside. They said they haven't found anything hazardous in the air. Any more comment for people on that who live in this area, what they should do throughout the day?
Well, the smoke has dissipated, but it's common for us to have air management come and check the quality of the air. We don't really believe that there's anything majorly harmful in the air. It's just that it's a precautionary measure to tell people to turn off HVAC systems or put their windows down and things of that nature. But if you feel as though you are affected, if you were more sensitive to the smoke or the byproduct of this, you can always call 911 to have someone respond to get checked out.
When we first got here, we saw those flames raging, spreading to those other buses. It seemed like pretty quickly, a lot of black smoke. Can you just talk about the challenges and what you guys faced heading into this?
Well, one of the main challenges was access. And the buses are parked closely together because as it's a storage area for SEPTA, the tighter you can pack in things, the more storage you can get. So with fire, it doesn't take a small amount of distance for it to spread. So it was easy for it to spread, and that's what we wanted to stop it from spreading. So pulling buses away and out was the main primary objective while we was waiting to get the amount of water we needed to address the actual fire on each bus.
I was told there was like electric and gas buses. Did that pose any risk or concerns?
Because this is a storage area for SEPTA, they have informed us that all of these buses have been totally de-energized. So the hazards that we hear about with EVs wasn't presented here, in regards to a charged vehicle, but it was still the actual battery cell itself. But most of the content or areas burning in the bus were the passenger areas and not really of the engine areas. So we didn't really have a major, and they had about 7 buses that were part of this large group of buses that were parked there. but they were very quick to pull buses away from the area so that we could get right into the seat of the fire.
How many alarms did this get to, and how good of a job did the crew do to knock it out?
After that initial company arrived and they immediately called for a upgraded assignment, and at 628, it quickly moved to 3 alarms. In our business, the faster you get resources coming, the better chance you have of mitigating and containing the situation. So it played a huge part to have resources come as often and as quick as we could so that we can make sure we stay on top of things.
So
They
7
knocked
to
it out
10.
Would you say they knocked it out pretty quick, consider how large it was? I've seen the footage. Thank you. I've seen the aerial of it. It was
Intense.
It was intense mainly because of the restricted access and getting the water that we needed. Because as we use like master stream devices, these things are shooting over 350 gallons of water a minute, and everybody needs their own supply. There's not a lot of sharing of water when you're moving that much water. So once we got the water we needed, we were able to truly address the fire. Water is key in any fire. Water is key.
7 to 10 buses total.
No, it was about 7 to 10 buses that we felt were directly involved with fire, and they were producing the amount of smoke you saw. But there was more, over 20 buses that were parked in this storage-contained area. So, we just moved them out the way to get that hazard out the way or of spread so that we could address the fire itself.